Look, when the school says we're doing everything we can, they may be telling the honest to God truth. But here's the problem. Doing everything that we can and currently know how to do is totally different from we're doing everything possible to get your child where they need to be. And that's where the problem lies. Now, before we go any further, this part is important. This is not about attacking teachers. This is not about attacking schools. Because believe me, these schools are overwhelmed. They have teachers leaving in droves, so there's teacher shortages. They have the students are leaving in droves, so the daily attendance is down. The only people who are really showing up every day are the support staff, and even they are overwhelmed. The psychologists have too many assessments to do. The counselors have too much counseling to do. Even the lunch ladies have too many lunches to fill. But the problem is they may be doing everything that they can, and they may have overwhelmed class sizes. They may have underwhelmed staff. They don't have the staffing ratio. They don't have the necessary training. They don't necessarily have the skills, but they are doing the best that they can. So they care, they want to help, and they're doing everything they can. But that, once again, is totally different than doing what you need to do to make sure that that child gets from one level to the next. So keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out what to do next. Because although the school may say we're doing everything we can, that doesn't necessarily mean that the problem is being solved effectively. So when a school says we've tried everything, what that often means is we've tried everything within our structure, our resources, our training, and our time. So they may not have the necessary skills, the necessary resources, the necessary time to implement those interventions effectively. So often what you see is the interventions are done halfway. There's no consistent implementation of it. The class is just overwhelming, so the teacher can't do exactly what she needs to do or he needs to do. There's a lot of different factors of why they may not be able to implement that intervention effectively and keep data that allows you to make good decisions with it. So what you have to ask and then what you have to understand is, what exactly is going on? What can you give me? And can we at least agree on that? Because the school may not be being malicious. They just don't have the necessary resources. They're missing the skills, they're missing the time, they're missing that training. And that's where you need to start before attacking and saying it's their fault. The biggest mistake parents make after hearing we're doing everything we can is assuming that there's nowhere else to go. And that is almost never true. The question you should be asking at that point is, can you show me? What does the data say? What interventions are you using? What's been working well? What hasn't been working well? You just want to know some details. You're not being emotional. You're not being accusatory. You're simply just asking for the data. Unemotional, straightforward, and just trying to get down to brass tacks. So if they're telling you that they're doing everything they can, that may be true. You just want to know what that is. Ultimately, all you want is specifics. And I'm going to give you a list of questions that I would ask, or that I would give advice for a parent to ask if they were in that situation. So let's just say it's a behavior problem and the school tells you we're doing everything we can. You want to know the specifics, like what behavior is it? What exactly does it look like? When does it happen more often? When is it not happening? Are there certain students in the classroom with whom that often happens? Are there places on the campus when this happens? What happens before that behavior happens? What happens after? Is there some type of reinforcement system going on? And that's just typically for behavior. If you're talking about academics, they can be very, very similar because academics are behavior as well. It's just academic behavior. So can you tell me what problems can they do? Are they ever able to do these problems? Are they consistent? When are they able to do them? When do they struggle with these problems? Is there anybody who they can sit with that actually helps? Is there an aide that they work well with? Can you give me some specifics on the accuracy or sometimes the fluency? So you just want to know those basic questions because they don't only help the school to then develop interventions, they help you to then help your child at home. So just get the details, because when you really look under the hood, sometimes you'll see a behavior problem. The child may not have a behavior plan. There may not be a reinforcement system in place when you start to ask those really tough questions. If you start to ask, why aren't they reading on grade level yet? They may not have a routine-based intervention. They might not even be working on phonics. They may be doing fluency, but your child is still trying to sound out letters. So there may be a mismatch between the intervention and the skill that they need to learn. So by asking these questions, you're getting a better picture of what's really going on so that you can help the school help your child. Not attack them, not throw them under the proverbial bus, but just give them some support so they can support you. And here's another thing parents need to really understand, is that a school can care deeply about your child, really like them as a person, really want them to do well, and still not have the capacity to give them what they need. So a teacher can be the best teacher in the world, but if she doesn't have the necessary tools, the necessary training, the necessary resources and support, none of that is going to matter. So you have to understand that, yeah, they may like your child, they may love your child, they may really, really care deeply for them, but that is not the same thing as having the abilities to actually move the needle on their behavior or their academics. So what you need to do is go into the meetings, go into the collaboration, understanding that, so that you don't become combative and then make everything unproductive. You want to have that understanding, but also you still want to be firm and you still want to know the specifics and you still want to know what the plan is so that you can be forward, you can help your child, and you can help in collaboration with the school, because that's where the child is every day. They're not with you. If they were, then it would be totally different. In this situation, you have to rely on the school staff. So you want to treat them with the utmost respect, understand where they are, and get those details and move forward in unison. So your goal is not to catch the school slipping. Your goal is to try to find out what's missing. That way you can collaborate and give your child what they need. You can find out, what do they need? What supports do they need? What supports don't they have? What has been effective? What has not been effective that's already been tried? Have we been consistent with it? Those are the questions that you should ask, because they will give you a much better answer that will lead to interventions, that will lead to problem solving, because you just don't want to become combative for the sake of being combative. What you really want to do is work towards a solution, because that's the reason you're there in the first place. So if you've ever heard, we're doing everything we can, don't panic, don't blame, but keep asking the right questions. You want data, you want clarity, you want next steps. Because once everybody stops trying to prove who's right and who's wrong, then you can start to identify the supports that your child actually needs. That's a much better way to move forward than to try to catch somebody with their hand in the cookie jar. So if you still have questions even after this video, you just need a little help or a little direction on where to go next, make sure you reach out to us. We have a number of resources that you can check out here on this page. You can check out our contact info and reach out for a free consultation where we can give you an idea of what you can do to help your child, because ultimately that is the goal. That is the goal of the school, and that is your goal as well. And if you contact us, we will help you reach that goal. So continue to watch if you found this video informative, if you found it entertaining, if you have found it useful, and if you want more information just like this, all you have to do is stay tuned.